Okay, welcome back everyone. Welcome to a new trading week. This is Jeff here with FXMindshift, and welcome to your Sunday weekly review. So if you guys look at the calendar here, we've got a very interesting lineup ahead of us. A lot of red folders staring at us in the face, and a lot of high impact events that normally we would see, just one high impact event in the week, but we've got three here in a row. So starting with Wednesday, we've got FOMC. Thursday, we've got the GBP, monetary policy summary, official bank rate votes. And then Friday, because we are starting a new month and it is going to be the first Friday of the month, we've got NFP Friday, right? So three super high volatility events all rolled into 1 week. You want to be trading with extreme caution, a lot of discretion this week if you are trading through the news. I obviously don't recommend trading through the news. And I mean, if you can, my advice would be to get your trading done as early as possible. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday we've got FOMC, but FOMC generally happens late in the day, and you certainly have time before that to get your trading done by Wednesday, and then just kind of ride out the rest of the week and see what happens with all these high volatility events. That would be my suggestion. Do what you will with that information. You guys are all adults, obviously, and you guys can decide for yourselves, right? So that would be my advice, but let's take a look at the charts. We're going to go over to our DXY chart. Okay, and again, we're going to start with the monthly top down and work our way through to the 4 hour. So if you look at the monthly chart here, there really hasn't been much change. And one of the things with the summer months and the summer volatility is that you'll notice that there's always going to be some sort of, consolidation happening. It's not generally a great time to trade. There are two times in the year where we take, basically myself and my trading community, we take a break 2 times a year. One of those times is coming up here in August in the summer months, right? And then the other time is going to be in the winter time around Christmas and New Year's and that holiday period. Reason being is because the volatility and the trading volume during that time is generally low. It's generally not very ideal conditions that you want to be trading in. And it's generally not, it's not fun to trade. So, coming up here in August, we will be taking our summer break. And, the reason being is you can see here that we're basically in it already. These monthly consolidations where it's low, it's ranging. There's not a lot of movement, right? And things are just kind of going sideways, right? So, from the dollar chart here on the monthly, you can see, we're probably going to be ending the month bearish, right? And you can see we're coming down into the range. So we're still going to be expecting price to do, what we expected last week is come back down into this monthly range down here into the consolidation, right? And that's really, all we're doing is we're just basically moving sideways. So this is the range. Okay, and that's going to happen to be the weekly range as well when we drop down to the weekly. Okay, and as you can see, that is where we're currently trading. So on the weekly, we can see that we have come up into this OB area here. We've got the reaction from this point of interest in the premium, and we can see that price is moving down towards the lower half of the range, right? The last move that we saw from the previous week was that we saw price come down and sweep the level here, right? So we took liquidity underneath the lows, we traded into this imbalance in this OB here, and we got a little upwards reaction. The follow through so far hasn't been very strong. I still think that we will make a move upwards, towards this level, and still consolidate, right? But I do think ultimately we're still headed towards this bottom portion here. So the weekly isn't going to give us a whole lot of clarity here right now. So let's drop down to the daily here and let's see if the daily shows us anything different. So last week, we saw price give us this nice move below the lows, and we saw price come back up pretty aggressively. So we're still looking for price to continue movement up into this imbalance area. I'm still looking for that for price to trade into there. You can see that we did trade a little bit into, just a touch above this high right here into the imbalance. And we did get this reaction. So the reaction here was also not very strong. You can see that we did come down, but we came right back up. So it's more so like a consolidation, and I still think that this area here is going to hold, and we're going to continue to move higher. So what we do here in this consolidation this week, with all of the red news, will certainly give us a little bit more insight as to how price is going to move. But ultimately, I'm looking for price to still do this, okay, and come up into this imbalance area, possibly into the OB here. We could also trade higher, but I'm going to be looking for a reaction in this area here first, and then seeing if we get a movement down from there into this area. Okay, so that is kind of the thought process for this week. If that happens or not, you can see that last week really did not give us anything, and this is what I was talking about earlier about the summer volume and the summer moves. This is kind of what you can expect. But since we do have 3 back-to-back high-impact news events coming up this week, there should be some decent movement from that. So we'll kind of see how that plays out this week, and if this does eventually play out. Okay, so that is the daily. Let's go down to the 4-hour here, and let's just get a little bit more of a better view. So the movement I'm expecting for price to happen to come up into is this imbalance here. So you can see that the 4-hour refinement of the level into possibly the low here to mitigate the low, but eventually just filling the imbalance here and then giving us a reaction to go lower. So this consolidation right now is a mess. It doesn't look very nice, but this is the 4-hour range. We can see that we did break structure above that high when we went down here, which is why I'm still holding on to the bullish idea, and also because we haven't seen a really strong move down. It doesn't look like price is willing to move down yet, or at least it hasn't shown me that it wants to move down yet. So we can see a reaction to the H4 imbalance here with the sweep of liquidity, and then price moved away from that level, and that's kind of where we're sitting. So this is where I would expect price to hold going into next week, and then continuing from there like so up into this imbalance area, and then seeing if we get a reaction lower. Okay, so that's kind of the idea. This is choppy and messy, but as I said, when we see the news events this week, we'll have a better idea of how price is going to move, if it will. Okay, so that is going to be the dollar. Let's go over to euro dollar and compare. So on the monthly, we can see that we are also, like I said, in the monthly consolidation. We're going to end the month bullish, it looks like, okay, and we're going to see if we do. There's going to be a couple days left in the week, but obviously the high impact news is going to give us a little bit of an influence as well. I do still like, for price to come up and trade above the highs here. I mean, this one as well, right? This is the immediate one. Eventually going for this one, but you can see that we are moving, up. So on the monthly, still in consolidation, not a whole lot of clarity. Let's drop down to the weekly. Okay, but overall, you can see that price is moving higher right now. So if we go to the weekly chart, right, we can see that the last weekly high was taken, okay, over here, or this swing high over here. This would be the next target, but because we've taken out the swing high here, we're going to be expecting a retracement into the range first. Okay, so probably looking for it to come down into the imbalance, the weekly imbalance here. And we can see like right there, right? Very, very small, but a target nonetheless for us to trade down into, for then, for price to then eventually go back up again. So we're seeing that price is holding bullish order flow right now. But, we'll see if the retracement holds, and, the move here if we get a reaction. So, very, very tight spaces right now, very tight consolidation. We're not really moving, too much in a direction, in a clear direction that we want to see price, kind of stay, bullish if we can. But we're in this range right here, and we can see that price is going to, we would like to see price react here in this weekly imbalance. Okay, and we can see the price is holding lows here. This was the last low that was taken, right? We can see the price is going to go for, or at least we would expect price to go for the highs here, which is what I'm still targeting. So on the daily chart, I forget the daily markups. Come on, there we go. All right. So on the daily, you can see that we did come down and we did react to the daily OB here, right? And we saw price give us a reaction to the daily OB. The weekly imbalance is here, so we certainly could see price go lower. And what price does right here is going to be important to, you know, what happens for the rest of the week, or it's going to dictate what's going to happen for the rest of the week. So there's a couple of scenarios that can happen. Obviously, we're inside of this daily range, which is this large range here. Okay, and while you know, we have taken out the high and started the retracement, okay, we have a reaction here at this OB, and we can see that we do have, you know, a movement or a swing low that was created, and price moving higher. So if it does continue from here and go higher, this is one scenario. Okay, but another scenario could be that we see that price trades up into the imbalance here and the OB, and we see a reaction and it goes lower. So something like this, and then going further into the discount and then moving up again, like so. Right? This is probably the more likely scenario. I don't know if we're going to just see price go up from here. I'd like to see price go a little bit further down into the range. Obviously, we'd always like to see a little bit deeper retracement. But either way, we're going to see if price holds the OB here and goes higher, or if we get a reaction at this level here, and then we get another move later. Right? So either way, I'm going to be expecting price to move higher into this region here, and then seeing if we get a reaction or if we go through. Okay, and now on the 4 hour, if we drop down to the 4, so on the 4 hour we have a range, okay, swing low that's been formed here, and price, you know, you can see here it's not very you know, strong looking swing low here, but we do have this nice little mess of a consolidation and a swing low. So if we were to take this as our 4 hour swing low, like so, okay, and use that as our bottom end of the range, then we could expect price to then trade higher from here. But as I said, we're going to be watching this area to see if price will hold or go through. Okay, if we do see price go through this area here, then it's very likely that we'll just see price go up from this level, and this will be the swing low. But there is going to be a possibility that price does hold here, right, and then we see a move lower. Okay, and that'll be one of two scenarios that we see for EU. It's going to be difficult to tell. Obviously, we're going to have, you know, high impact news this week is going to be affecting price a lot. So, you know, this is just the start of the week and the opening, what I'm expecting for the opening of the week. As we go through the week and as we have, you know, those high impact news events come out, things might change a lot. Okay, so keep that in mind. So that is for EU. Let's go over to GU next. All right, and on GU, you can see from the monthly chart, you know, we have sort of the same idea as EU, in that we are probably going to end of the month bullish, and we're going to be looking for price to continue higher. But we are currently inside of a monthly consolidation, and you can see that the target that I have here is still valid, still in play. I'm going to be looking for price to trade up into the monthly OB and imbalance here and taking out the high of the wick. Okay, but as long as we're still in this consolidation, you can see that we took out this last internal high over here, right? And we can see a reaction lower. If we go to the weekly chart, you can see that a little bit better. Okay, whereas we took out the high here and we're retracing back into the weekly range. Now we've got the weekly imbalance here and the swing low, right? And then just below that, we had the weekly OB and imbalance we were looking for price to come down into, which we did not do, right? So that's still up in there. That's still a possibility. I would imagine price would want to draw back down into the weekly OB and imbalance here first, right? Because that is closer. So that's going to be the obvious target for me first, to see price draw back into there, and then seeing if we get a reaction from there to go higher again, right? You can see very strong bullish order flow for the weekly, so that's why I'm still aiming for price to go higher. But obviously, you know, the retracement is happening here. So we're going to see if price gives us reaction in this area first here, right? Or if we come down into here, because that's also possible, but that's a much bigger move. And that would be possible with the news this week, so I wouldn't rule that out. So let's see what that what that brings us. On the daily chart, okay, we can see a little bit of contrast here from the EU chart. Okay, so if you remember, going back over here on the EU daily, all right, we saw a reaction at the daily OB here, but if we look at the GU daily OB here, we haven't yet come down into it. Okay, and so it could be a delayed move, but we should see a reaction here. I mean, I'm expecting price to give us a reaction there. So that will be, you know, first and foremost is we want to see the move down into the weekly OB area or the weekly imbalance area, but we're going to see if we get a reaction from this daily OB first, because we did get a reaction from the EU move, right? And then seeing if we get the hold, right? So we could see something like this as well happen, where we get the reaction, we get the retracement, and then we get the move down. Okay, and it could go lower like such, but first looking for price to come down into here and seeing the reaction from this, whether it's going to be a strong reaction and go higher from there. Okay, or do we get a reaction lower like this? Okay, and like I said, the news is going to have a big impact on that, how that plays out, obviously. But that is, for the start of the week, how I'm going to be expecting price to open up for us. Okay, let's go down to the 4. Okay, so how that plays out on the 4 hour here is going to be price coming down into the imbalance here. Okay, and that's the area that we're looking for price to react. So we got this OB down here, overlapping with the imbalance here, which is good, right? So we're going to see if price wants to come down and give us reaction in this area and come up. All right, pretty straightforward there for 4 hour GU. Let's drop over to gold next. All right, now gold has reacted from the high here, okay, on the monthly. This is still, you know, a monthly bullish candle, but we can see that there's going to be, you know, a pin, basically a reaction or a wick that we leave here at the end of the month. Okay, and so this is likely going to be a peak high, and we're going to see price come down from here. Obviously, we're already seeing the retracement down. Okay, so we want to see if price is going to give us, you know, a continuation down from here. So if we go to the weekly and we take a look at the weekly, we can see that kind of already forming for us, right? A weekly swing high, weekly 3-bar formation, right? And then seeing price come back down into this range. We're going to be expecting price to do something like this at the start of the week, right? We react, obviously holding the high, we're coming back into this area here, but then ultimately coming down into this weekly imbalance here. All right, so having said that, let's go down to the daily. All right, and we can see here from the daily, the reaction up. Okay, this reaction here already signaled the move down. Okay, and we had a nice strong move down. So the reaction here, I would expect price to hold that swing high that we made right there. So the wick area here, or even just the OB, okay, itself, right? So into the imbalance here in the OB, I would expect price to hold that going up. You can see we did move up, but holding this area here and then continuing down. Okay, and so pretty straightforward on the 4 hour. We'll see how that looks. So right here, so we can look for basically price to hold the imbalance area here, the swing low, to mitigate the swing low, and seeing if we get a reaction and making us a lower high here to continue down. And then eventually trading through the swing lows and the equal lows here down into that lower portion. Okay, so you know, start of the week, we might see price moving up. It could go through this level as well. I mean, I have this area marked, but it could certainly go higher up to the OB here as well. So you don't want to rule that out as a possibility for it to go higher, and I certainly would expect it to go higher first, but eventually we're going to see some sort of reaction in this premium of this range here. Okay, and I want to see price hold that high and continue lower. Okay, this is kind of more towards the equilibrium. So this will be the first area, the closest possibility for price to give us reaction. If it goes higher than that, we'll look for this to hold here, and then we'll look for a move down. Okay, hope that's clear. But pretty straightforward there for gold. I think that's probably easier to see for gold this week, and we'll see how the news plays out in terms of how that affects the movement. All right, and then last but not least, we have NASDAQ. Okay, and sort of the same idea here for NASDAQ. We've reached another all-time high level, and we see a reaction from that level. We're above the 20K mark, so it's also a significant price level, and we can see that we're leaving, we're ending the month rather on a bearish pin, right? So we would expect price to now continue down from there. So let's go down to the weekly. All right, and the weekly is a very nice 3-bar formation and continuation, right? We saw price trade into the weekly OB here, which we were expecting price to draw down to. Very, very clear move down into that weekly OB. We do have a reaction from there, but it's still pretty much very bearish, right? I wouldn't expect this to hold. I would think that price would want to continue down. If it does hold, just a small move up and then a continuation down, something like that. Okay, not necessarily trading back into the OB and balance here, but that would be where I target. Okay, it could just be a shallow retracement and then a move down, but I would expect price to continue moving down is the idea. So if I go to the daily chart and I take a look, the reason I say that is because obviously we had such a strong move below, even a gap down as well, right? So I don't know if price is readily going to be moving all the way back up there right away. If it is, I would assume that price is going to go back bullish again. We're going to see price go for the highs again. But we can certainly, target this area to see if it will do that, right? We do have a lot of high impact news this week, so that certainly is possible, right? I mean, it's a large move up, but because we have, FOMC, we have NFP, those kinds of things, price will move, very quickly to those areas with those news events. So don't rule that out. But we do see a reaction here from the daily OB and balance, and we can see that we are making a 3-bar and a move back up. All right, so I would like to see if price will hold this low, and we'll see if we get a move back up into the imbalance here, and then if we get a reaction from that OB with a lower high, and then a continuation down through this low. Okay, so that looks like, let's look at that on the 4-hour. Okay, so that looks like this. So first thing is, on the 4-hour, we're going to see if the low holds, right? You can see a nice swing low formed here. Very strong move down, right? A very sharp move down, and we got a quick move up. If price breaches this level here, that's going to be a change of character, and we're going to see price likely move higher from there into that imbalance area. Oops, let's get this. Likely up into. So if we get a move up through this level here, we'll likely see price reach for this point of interest here. If we see price holding the level, you can see here we've got a bearish candle here. If we don't actually manage to get above that, then we probably won't see price go much higher, and we'll just see a continuation down. Right? So, or unless it just peaks up above it like really quickly, and then we see a move down, right? Like a wick and a big shift down. But likely we'll see price go higher. If it does go through and close above this area here, then we should see price go higher for these points of interest up here before moving lower. Okay, and it could even continue to be bullish, like I said. If it does go higher and trade through this level, then that's definitely going to be more so bullish, and we'll see probably price making new all-time highs, right? So we'll see if that comes through. So FOMC, NFP, obviously for any of the indices is going to be dangerous to trade. As I said, if you guys can, try to get your trading done as early as you can in the week. Wednesday FOMC is going to be late in the day, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday you've got lots of time to see if there's any setups that play out. The rest of the week, Thursday and Friday, I would say just kind of, give yourself, trade obviously with caution, trade with discretion, but, give yourself a little bit more, stricter rules in terms of the setups that you take on those days. All right, and that's going to do it, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. That is it for the review. If you guys want to message me, you can do so directly on Telegram, or you can drop a comment below the video if you need help with anything. But hopefully, if you guys have not subscribed yet to the channel, we're going to do this every Sunday, as I said, and sign up in the link in the description below for the free membership if you want firsthand, alerts as to when these videos drop. I'm going to be dropping these in the community first for our free members before uploading them to the YouTube. All right, that's pretty much it, guys. Hopefully, you guys get through this week okay. If if anything comes up because of the red news, I expect it to be difficult, but yeah, it should be okay. All right, guys, that's going to do it, and that's pretty much it. Good luck with your trades, and we'll see you guys on the next video.